Morning. Good to see all of you. Hope you had able to enjoy some downtime this summer. First, I want to extend our sympathies to the families whose loved ones were killed. We remember Officer Didarul Islam, Wesley Lepatner, Alan Etienne, and Julia Hyman, and all of those who were impacted by Monday's senseless and horrible shootings at 345 Park Avenue. Certainly thinking about all of them and all of our colleagues at the league office, including a speedy recovery to the NFL employee who's recovering in the hospital. Difficult to transition to football, but it is good to be out here. Always great to be back for another camp. We were intentional in the moves we made this offseason in free agency and the draft to strengthen our team. We added several guys that fit what we want in terms of being tough, smart, and selfless, guys who love to play football. We're grateful to have the extensions done with both Kwesi and Kevin, as we continue to believe they are the right leaders for the football club. Now it's about putting in the work and focusing on daily improvement at camp and continuing to build the identity of the team. Before I open up to questions, I do want to recognize two Viking legends. First, a congratulations to Jared Allen on his upcoming induction into the Hall of Fame this weekend. Jared was such an impactful piece and continues to be an impactful piece of our organization during his time in Minnesota. Of course, he put up tremendous numbers, but he was great in the community and with the fans, and he continues to be a great representative of the Vikings, and he's certainly deserving of this honor, so congratulations. I also haven't spoken to you since the passing of Jim Marshall this spring. As we said at the time, no players in this team's history live the ideals of toughness, camaraderie, passion, and leadership more than Jim. He was a quiet but effective leader. In our minds, he's the greatest captain in NFL history, and there is no question he also belongs in the Hall of Fame for what he accomplished over his 20-year career. We plan to honor Jim with a helmet decal throughout the 2025 season and are working on plans to recognize him and his family during Legends Weekend when we face the Bengals in September. With that, I'll take your questions. Thank you.
Mark, thanks for doing this. What kind of efforts are going into bringing the NFL draft to Minneapolis, and what are your expectations?
Well, we certainly have been working with the Minnesota Events Group and the NFL to put our community out there to make sure we can get a draft. We've shown we can do big events, whether it's Super Bowl, Final Four, and I know our team's hard at work to putting an effort together. So it'll be an outstanding venue when we get it, and we're working very hard to get it here.
Mark, what will have to happen this season for you to view it as a success?
Well, right now we're just putting in the work day in and day out. And like I said, we're excited about the roster that's been put together with the leadership this organization and the club has. So far so good, but we're a long way for thinking about that. We're just doing, and I know Coach O'Connell's of the same mindset, is just day to day and making sure we get better each day. But we're hopeful for a great season.
Mark, when we talked to you last, I think you were confident that the deal with Kwesi was going to get done. What made it go from something you were confident about to something that finally got done?
Well, we just needed to work through it with Kwesi and his representatives, and like I said, he's proven to be a great communicator, great collaborator, and coach, and Kwesi and Rob and our entire football leadership has really proven to us that they're the right group to bring us forward, and I think we've had a great offseason to get us there.
Mark, with the first 3 years of those guys together, I guess what are your strongest impressions of progress or changes that they've sort of instilled to this program?
Well, I think there's a few things. I think certainly communication, collaboration, and also culture. I think everyone's on the same page in that front. Of course, there's always a lot of hearty discussion and a lot of areas, but I think we're of the same mindset of making sure how to build the football team, and the combination of both draft and free agency. We love the additions we've made, and I think that working environment with the group that I've just talked about has proven effective.
Mark, what is your level of excitement about J.J. McCarthy?
Well, very excited. I mean, from the day we've drafted him, and I think Coach O'Connell has spoken quite extensively, but I can tell you everyone around us, including the fans I know, are excited to see his development. And like I said about our club, it's day to day, and the way he goes about it, being a pro, bringing the spirit he brings to it, and working with a coach like Coach O'Connell is going to prove out well. So I know we're excited so far and can't wait to see where the future goes.
Mark, the mayor of New York said that the shooter there was targeting the NFL relative to CTE and maybe some other things. I'm just curious, as an owner of one of the teams in the league, like how you kind of take that. You know, we always talk about sports and sort of the fun and enjoyable things, but that seems to be a very serious situation.
I take it as really a senseless, horrific tragedy that it happened, and that's the main takeaway for me. Of course, there are issues about mental health and all the rest, but I certainly, on the NFL front, applaud all the efforts that have been made in terms of safety and wellness, but this has nothing to do with all of that. This is a senseless tragedy that has touched so many, and like I said before, our hearts and sympathies are with the families and those affected so deeply.
Mark, a lot of the free agents who signed here cited the NFLPA survey as one of the reasons they were interested in the Vikings. They created ownership and coaching very high. So what do you think that you've done from an ownership perspective to make players feel like this is a place they want to come?
Well, I think we have a mindset of, again, I think Coach O'Connell personifies that so well, of just bringing the kind of culture where we care about our players first and foremost. And yes, the facilities are important, the building is important, but it's also about the people. And I think from every coach, every scout, every business staff person here, there's a sense that we want to build a team and a culture that everyone wants to be around. And that could be having family lounges at our stadium, or the kind of facilities where our players feel welcome and that they can hone their craft and perfect their skills. Those are the kind of things that we want to keep promoting, and the fact that's recognized is great, but again, that's what we're about.
Mark, what have you thought of the job that Brian Flores has done with the defense through 2 years?
Coach Flores is an outstanding coach, and I think the results have proven it. Certainly, he's had a big hand, along with Kwesi and our entire organization, to bring in some real great veteran depth on our line and starting ability. So excited for where we're going to take this thing, and I know he's hard at work all the time to put different wrinkles in, and we just are excited to see where this goes.
How much do you want him here long term?
Like I said, Coach Flores is someone we value greatly, and you know, we're excited about the football leadership we have, and we want to keep this thing going.
Mark, what have you learned about kind of handling your emotions as you've gone through this roller coaster of 20 years?
Well, it's the greatest privilege in the world to be part of the NFL, and we know how much our fans and our team cares about winning championships, and that's still our ultimate goal, is to win championships. Of course, it's a roller coaster, the wins, the losses, but it brings community together. It is something people care deeply about, and as owners, like I've always said, for my brother Ziggy, myself, our entire family, we view ourselves as really stewards of a tremendous community asset. And we know how much people care about the Minnesota Vikings, and we're working hard day in and day out. And I assure everybody that we're working day in and day out to bring us those Super Bowl trophies.
Mark, you guys will become the first team to play back-to-back international games in different countries this fall. When the NFL brought that idea to you, what was your reaction to it?
Well, certainly we wanted to make sure the football folks were on board with it, but we've always been very supportive of the international growth of the game. American football, we think, is the greatest sport in the world, and I think that's proven in the support, the attendance that these games get, the interest, and so we're always supportive. And the fact that it was back-to-back and it worked out conveniently that both Pittsburgh and Cleveland were hosting, so we're looking forward to the opportunity. And again, yes, they're games, but we want to help grow the game too.
Just in general, I mean, I suppose different teams can take different approaches to this. What has made you guys seemingly one of those teams that seems to raise its hand and say, yeah, we want to be in this international setting?
Well, like I said, we're very much, yes, we're club first, but we also are very mindful of making sure the league and the sport grows. I think the more the business grows, the more the fandom grows. I think it just makes it exciting for everyone. I think football brings people together. And I think in these times, and in all times, we need common ground, and football and sports and entertainment is something that we can all kind of rally around and be part of. And we see that when we go to the UK, and we're looking forward to do that in Ireland and and wherever else the league goes, and to be supportive.
From a competitive standpoint, how do you view being out there for 2 weeks or for 2 games at least?
Well, I think we've spent a lot of time in terms of Tyler and the crew and making sure our players will be ready, and they're not too far apart. So we're going to spend the week in London, and we look forward to the challenge. I think again, our players are up to it. I think we have the kind of leadership on this team that will handle any challenge, and this will be part of it. We have to first get through today, training camp, preseason, and a few regular season games, but it's a process.
You talk about leadership kind of changing the culture, but your family has changed the culture. Vikings these 20 years is an impressive benchmark, but not only this facility, US Bank Stadium, the Skull Chant, how important is it to you and your family that you help change the culture of the team in a way as well?
Well, very much so. We're like I said, being stewards, we want to make sure when people come to the games, families and everyone around that watches the Minnesota Vikings feels good about the kind of organization we are. And so we're proud of things like being number one in voice of the fan, or the different metrics that kind of measure that. And so we take that very seriously. And we know that the Vikings, when you say Minnesota, for people around the world, a lot of people very quickly say Vikings. And so we recognize that there's a responsibility to that, and we take it very seriously.
Mark, with Kwesi, what has stood out just over the last 3 years, just about your communication with him? What has impressed you most over time?
Well, I just he came out of the blocks with an incredibly great mindset, great mind, and I think we've seen tremendous growth actually as well. People forget how young both Kevin and Kwesi are, and the way they've grown together in this last 3 years has been super impressive, and I think that's been part of it. And like I said before, communication, collaboration, the kind of people that he's put around him. And so I think all in all, we work very closely to build this thing, and the results will hopefully prove out.
Mark, will you be in camp for Jared's?
I will not, yeah.
Mark, have you heard anything from the league about bringing back the pregame fire? I know that's something fans ask us a lot about the Dragons.
Well, we focus on making sure our pregame experiences. I mean, we have one of the highest marks in terms of number of fans in the seats when we have kickoff, because people want to come see our pregame show, get all psyched up for the game, and so our Dragons going strong. And whether it's fire or smoke or whatever comes out, I know our players will be jumping out of there, and our fans will be really cheering hard.
Thank you.
Thank you.